What is up, everybody? Happy Friday morning. Shad Dale's here, Trade of Black podcast, presented by Dutchie. Good to have you here. AV is going to come on in just a moment. We got the senior leaders from TerrAscend on, Chairman Jason Wild in just a moment, along with their CEO, Ziad Ghanem. We're going to talk about their latest earnings print. 13 straight quarters of positive operating cash flow for this company, so we'll find out why. Plus, we also want to talk about the industry as a whole. I'm seeing some of the comments right now. I know Jason and Ziad, they do have their ear to the ground in Washington, so we'll get their take on what they're seeing, what they're hearing, how things are developing, plus the angle of the Koch brothers and their big fight for prohibition towards cannabis and what that really means, why they got involved in this in the first place. So we'll talk about, like I said, the road ahead for cannabis as we basically outline in today's title. So let's learn about that and welcome in AV on a Friday morning. Good to see you.
How's it going?
Good. Good.
Good show, Jason, Ziad, come on.
We were talking before we went live. I think they need to have their own podcast, just the two of them on one of our playlists with the show, because their chemistry is undeniable. And it's good to see, because I know we see a lot of companies in this space where, you know, Boris and the few, like, they really want to get their hands on and get things right. And this seems to work, you know, between the two of them, and has worked for quite some time. And you can't dispute it, because they've produced 13 straight quarters of positive operating cash flow, which is telling. So they work well with each other for sure. Works well.
Companies in solid markets. They've got some catalysts ahead. They're early in Maryland. They're growing in Ohio. PA strong. They got the hell out of Michigan, which was another good move for the business. And it's moving forward.
Yes, agreed. With that, let's welcome in Chairman of TerrAscend, Jason Wild, and CEO of TerrAscend, Ziad Ghanem. Good to see you guys again. How are we doing, gentlemen?
How's it going?
I was doing great until you, Anthony, and Jason start picking on my lighting, moved rooms. So in a second, you're gonna see some family members come on the screen, etc., etc.
Won't be the first. My dogs are usually popping up every once in a while around here.
Where are you right now, Zia? Are you like at a villa in Costa Rica by the ocean?
No. I'm at home. There's a kitchen here with some yummy food in front of me, and then the living room behind me. So we're gonna make the best out of it. So Jason's happy with my lighting.
Yeah. You still look a little pale, but better than before.
Good morning on everyone on Sirius. So thanks for having us. So looking forward to the conversation.
I got a text about 10 minutes ago asking me if I was attending this Power Cannabis Connections conference in Michigan, and they only wanted to charge me $1,500 to attend today, and I rightfully passed. But Michigan, as Anthony said, you guys got out of there, and I know that's some of the news that I'm actually doing a top 5 next week around Thanksgiving, and that's going to be one of the top 5 developments that I'm going to outline this year in 2025. But gentlemen, it's now been, I don't know how many months since you passed there. As I said off the top, another great quarter, but either or. Maybe Jason, I'll start with you. What do you make of this latest earnings season as a whole, yourself, and really the state of the industry? And I know there's a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah, absolutely. We thought it was a solid quarter, steady quarter. We are still we're waiting for one of our acquisitions to close. We were hoping to maybe have that in the quarter, but hopefully it'll be in the fourth quarter. Our acquisition of a dispensary in New Jersey. But I would say Ziad and the team did a great job driving continued improved margins. From a gross margin perspective, solidly over 50%. I think our EBITDA margins were what were they, Z? 26% or so. Good cash flow. So we sort of, like we've been saying for a few quarters, we feel like we got the machine built and running well, and now we just want to put some more fuel into it with some of these acquisitions that one that's signed and we're hoping to close soon, and then others that we're working on getting signed in the hopefully in the near future.
Okay, good to know. 65.
There's some major technical difficulties going. So I figured out what's wrong with the stream. Not to just go behind the third rail. There's a version of this stream on the YouTube channel for everybody watching where our faces are super skinny and super small. And then there's this one that's normal. So anybody that's seeing those straight, narrow boxes, just go to the other stream on the YouTube. You'll see us in normal proportions because the comments were lighting up. So back to the platform. What's working?
I just noticed the little skinny panels on the left. I want to center myself. And
StreamYard and YouTube are having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, in broadcasting, for those of you watching this, we welcome you into the interview with Jason and Ziad here with TerrAscend here this morning. 65.1 million in revenue, Ziad. It was just shy of expectations. So investors curious about growth momentum. What would be your message to them?
Yeah, look, I think the 65.1 million were in line with our expectation. The consensus were a little bit higher. We've talked about it during our call. We said we expect the quarter to be flat, Q3 to be flat to slightly up, and then that's what happened. From a growth perspective, look, we have organic growth and acquisition growth that we are focused on. From an organic growth, Maryland wholesale business continue to grow for us.
Is it?
New Jersey, we have expanded our cultivation, and while retail is stable, wholesale for the quarter has seen an increase. We have the dispensaries that we are working on from an acquisition perspective in New Jersey. Also, I've discussed on the call that in our cultivation center in Pennsylvania, we are increasing our capacity for few projects that we are working on. And then on the M&A side, we talked about 2026 being a major driver for our growth. There's a lot of consolidation that is happening in the marketplace. There are assets that are attractive. We continue to be disciplined to get the right price, the right deal at the right price, and we're excited about that.
That's
How are you feeling about Pennsylvania? I mean, it's a strong market for you guys. It's a strong market for most of the MSOs that are there. It's a very healthy market, but from a regulatory standpoint, they just cannot get their shit together. They passed the budget. Cannabis was ebbing and flowing, and we got bills introduced. Shapiro's behind it, and it's just now punted into 2026. We saw a positive article on Marijuana Moment, I think it was early last week, that I alluded to. There is a clear pathway to get it done outside of the budgetary conversation in 2026. Are you guys in that same school of thought? And do you think that it's, let's say, greater than not probability of materializing finally in 2026?
Well, look, I was there. I spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania the last couple of quarters, and I've talked to pretty much everybody who's involved in the policy making in Pennsylvania. The most recent one, just a couple of Wednesdays ago, Mike Tyson, myself, and groups went in there, spent a day, and we've talked to around 25 lawmakers from both sides of the aisle, including the governor. And what you described, Anthony, is accurate. We heard the same exact things. And I don't think, actually, I know there's not a cannabis issue in Pennsylvania. There is a politics alignment that needs to happen.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's what we heard. We heard also loud and clear that rescheduling will immediately also unlock and remove any barrier that exists just because the Republican presence that exists in there. So I do believe what you mentioned, and there is a way to get there. And actually, just because how long it takes from the time we make the decision to turn on the increased capacity in Fulton in our cultivation center until getting to finished product, that's why we made the decision to start that process today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fair, don't you think, Jason? That's the vibe I got when I spoke to Ryan Burke a couple of weeks ago. Anthony and I I think they're on for it, but I think they want some direction from Washington. And
hold on, Jason, you're smirking. What is that?
I was just thinking of one of the first times I was in the car with Mike Tyson, and I told Ziad, this was a couple of years ago. I told Ziad, one thing I said, I'm in the car with Iron Mike, and then I said I'm with the champ. And Ziad, maybe you want to finish telling the story.
Yeah, and then Cynthia, my wife, next to me. I go, this is Jason. He's with Iron Mike and the champ. They're together, spending the whole day together. So I thought those are like two different individuals.
Sorry, so every time he talks about now he's gotten to know him better. He spent the whole day with him in Pennsylvania. But
what'd Mike think of that?
Yeah.
Did we? I don't know if we told him. Did we tell him?
Okay.
Uh,
Where's the
how
champ?
was that? How was that trip in Pennsylvania with Mike? Was it? I'm assuming it was to good reception.
It was good. Look, and what he does very well is he tells his story without politics, without a second intention. He said, "Look, here's who I was. Here's my troubled past. Here's what things were bad, and then because of cannabis, here's who I am today. Have a family, have straight A kids, have loving wife, etc. From a dark past." So he describes that very well, and he puts an exclamation point on all the scientific things that we know about cannabis and the benefit of cannabis and how it helps in all those areas. So he was very effective, and we heard it loud and clear from the lawmakers.
Yeah,
And I think you guys were a good team. Also, you as a pharmacist and being able to talk a little bit more to the science, and Mike being able to put the exclamation point.
Hold on, let him finish there. Let him finish there. Like, what did you say, Ziad? Because we haven't really asked that question with the pharma angle, because I think that's important for people to know.
Look, Shad, I'll tell you, when I decided to leave the pharma world and come to cannabis, and I tell the story often.
Yeah.
That story I tell at home, and that story that I needed to find two things to enjoy what I'm doing and what I have been enjoying for the last 4 or 5 years. First is I needed, from a career perspective, know that I can grow the team and train the team and help a company, help an industry. And that was clear to me because the industry was in early innings, and I've done this with the same stakeholders, the regulators, the Department of Health, the legislators, the employee. Like, that was my stomping ground. What was not my stomping ground is to find the purpose of the industry that I am coming in. So to find that purpose, I went in and look, I couldn't do cannabis before because we did random drug testing. We'd lose our license in the past if we tested positive. So I went in and I promise on my kids, I interviewed more than 100 patients to see what's cannabis. And then what I learned, that people have replaced 4 medication, hydrocodone, Xanax, Lunesta, and Ambien with just a gummy, 5 milligram gummy, and won their life back, and the success and the stories that I've said, and the mom and the seizure. And I can talk about each therapeutic area. The example that, to me, was like this is a great paper, and it's been the best decision I've made. And I tell them that decision, and I tell them how regulated, I tell them how clean, I tell them how none of them is adulterated, rebranded,
right,
misbranded like gas station. Like, this is my passion, to talk about the benefit of the patient who is a certified patient or a consumer that is using it for a reason, but without the So,
Casey, can I ask, how do you think big pharma is viewing this right now? If there is rescheduling, I think people are talking about big alcohol, they are probably the main reason why these hemp intoxicating brands basically got banned. You talk about big pharma getting involved. We've had these conversations. Based on your experience, how are they viewing this right now?
Yeah, look, I've had those conversations with some of our peers, some of the leaders in the pharma world, and their thing is, we love it, we believe it, we trust it, we can touch it. And the reason why we can touch it is because of the schedule and because of the NIH sponsored research or peer-reviewed research. And I think rescheduling is going to open this, and everything that we know anecdotally of all the seizure and everything is going to be confirmed, is going to be proven. The 254 pages science that came from the NIH is going to be, and I think this is when you're going to see the bigger involvement, big liquor, big tobacco, or big pharma.
Okay, good to know.
We saw Mike Tyson on Katie Miller. Mike's been all over the place. I know Brady and Mike were on with Chris Cuomo. Before. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen an insane doctor on Tucker Carlson, reefer madness prohibitionist on Laura Ingraham. Rand Paul was just on with Chris Cuomo talking about how we need to have a separate bill to essentially legalize hemp, when he should really be talking about greater cannabis reform. Are you guys talking, and this is for Jason, are you talking with, let's say, the Tyson camp or anybody in general? Because I know that Mark Cahodes wants to make you the commissioner of cannabis on a national scale. Like, as an industry, we need to get our executives on these platforms, because what Ziad just alluded to is the message that needs to get out there. It's replacing pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
There is 253 pages authored by the government that basically legitimized cannabis as a medicinal therapeutic. Like the claims that are out there right now, which would make you think that these guys know something is going to happen, so they're getting on the offensive with their reefer madness stuff. We kind of need to counteract that, or we're kind of just waiting for something to materialize and we know it's going to happen. But I mean, is there a strategy, or have you talked to anybody within the industry about doing that kind of PR campaign, Jason?
Yeah, I've spoken a little bit about it. I mean, the problem, the issue overall in the industry is that
the most important part. Gone. You still there?
Jason,
you're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. We can't hear you.
And that's good feedback, Jason. That's a wrap. We'll see you next time, everyone.
We can't hear you. You went on mute, Jason.
Still on mute.
Still on mute.
Uh-oh. Most important part that he was going to share.
I know.
Jason, maybe you want to sign off and jump back on.
Go to settings and type microphone. If you can, make sure. Getting some weird technical issues this week.
By the way, for anybody that's did Tom Angel DM you, Shad?
Why? What's up?
Because the screen, the caption was Black Power in the YouTube video where it had us all very thin.
Oh my God.
It was pretty funny. We traded Black Power by Dutchie.
Somebody hacked us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nope. Jason, can you hear us? No? Still no? He can hear us.
We can't hear you. Yeah. Go ahead and sign out, sign back in.
So yeah, I mean, while we're waiting on Jason, I mean, getting back to the numbers in the print, what in the footprint's working? I mean, are you guys seeing strength or stabilization in Jersey? Is Maryland growing? Ohio is starting to print numbers, as I know that's been a market that you guys have been bullish on for some time now. Like, what in the platform is working, and what are you looking forward most to in 2026 with, let's say, bearing fruit that you've been working on in 2025?
Yeah. So look, I think every state is performing independently in line with the expectation, and that's what gives us the confidence that we've talked about to be in that 50 to 52% gross margin.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to exit the year there, and we'll be able to deliver the same thing in 2026 from a gross margin perspective and EBITDA margin perspective around what we show. What's working is a lot of things, and I'll start on the production and innovation side. It's not by coincidence that we are seeing our market share in the Northeast. If you look at those three states together, even with a lot less stores in Pennsylvania versus others, and the presence that we have a third market share in the Northeast and about to take the second spot in market share, and that's driven by innovation, new products, the tackle that happens every day with customer service in the store level, the premium brand and the brand strategy that we have, that premium and value brand that feed off each other. So to zero on every state, New Jersey's retail has been steady and growing for us. Wholesale has turned the corner, and then we are seeing that growth again. Maryland, we have doubled our capacity. Jason, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yes.
You've doubled capacity in Maryland.
Yes. So we added 4 additional flower rooms, and we added another 4 additional flower room, and that's what put us on that 75 million run rate in Maryland.
What a market, huh? What's it been? 3 years now since it went live? 2.5?
Maryland is 2 and 3 months, right? June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
It's been nothing but incredible since day one, don't you think?
It has been. Look, and a lot of the mistakes of the past. All of us as an industry collectively have learned on how to avoid what happened in Michigan, what happened in Colorado, what happened in California, and how to manage supply versus demand, how to stabilize the price. If you take any journey in New Jersey or in Maryland from day zero of adult use until 4 years in New Jersey or 3 years in Maryland, and you compare the pricing versus any of the other states, you'll see the difference. And that, to me, that difference is due by balancing the supply, the growth in the market, and the demand.
Right.
Is Michigan in the rearview mirror? Have those assets, is that cleaned up and off the P&L?
Yeah, so we expected to be totally done with Michigan by the end of the year, and we are on track to deliver this. So yes, as far as focus of the team, etc., it is part of the history. I'm super happy. Look, we worked with our lender on exiting Michigan and collaboratively, and the job that the team has done without bringing anybody external, anybody to restructure it, has been nothing short of amazing. So proud of the team. Everything is going as expected.
Okay.
And yeah.
Question I have for you, Jason. Mitch writes, how can you buy additional resources with the amount of outstanding debt currently out there? I know it's a pretty blunt question, but we want to get that question answered.
Yeah, sure. It has to be, the deals have to be good enough where it is, vastly accretive in terms of the amount of debt, where, if you get a good enough deal, it could be, even though you're bringing on more debt, it could actually be a delevering event relative to the amount of EBITDA and cash flow that you're bringing on.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add to that,
or go ahead?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask if Ziad would add anything to that. I mean, I think
that's the way and the distressed assets that are out there will accomplish exactly that.
Right.
Well,
they're stacking up.
How fast do you think M&A spreads across this industry in 26? Have you thought about it?
Yeah, it depends, because you have these license caps in all these states, and a lot of not to throw shade at any of the other companies, but something that the view we've always had is that we wanted to go deeper in less states, make sure that we can be very effective and compete effectively in those states. And the byproduct of that is that we're in less states, and therefore we can drive growth through acquisitions by adding additional states. But I would say that for the overall industry and for a lot of the other, say larger players, they can't necessarily do that to the same extent that a smaller player that has more of a narrow focus can.
Okay.
Do you think, or do you guys ever talk about internally on the longevity or the sustainability, let's say, of the limited license model that we see in states? Because I mean, this industry is probably going to evolve over time. I mean, do you guys see us as an industry operating within that infrastructure, and that just is common practice for the cannabis industry, the way that it's been built and the way it'll move forward on a go-forward basis in these individual markets?
See?
Yeah, I see it in two phases. I think phase one, in the short term, 1 to 3 years, or 1 to 5 years, we're gonna continue to see a limited license in the political environment that we have today, in order to give local licenses and local operators and the environment that is today. But I see us going into or that loosening it up more in the second phase and starting to have increased license. And look, this would be very beneficial for the strong operators, for the vertical operators, as long as the states are regulated and metrics is regulated, and there's no it's a level playing field where not what happened in Michigan or in some of the states. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I see it going as well. And I mean, Jason, we saw the amicus brief filed last night in line with potential reform. I mean, how are you thinking about that? How does that impact the potential Boys lawsuit? And I guess what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see the Americans for Prosperity amicus. I sent it to Weldon Angelos, who is somewhat of an expert in a lot of this stuff, and he replied to me. He said, "This brief is fucking awesome." Okay. And it wasn't just because, I mean, I had shared with him that they were going to file one, so it wasn't just that it was that we got AFP to file one, but the content of it he thought was really, really strong. And I mean, those guys are definitely a super well-known libertarian states' rights, outfit, and I think that should, carry some weight with the Supreme Court justices, especially the majority who are more federalist, the Republicans.
Do you think that will give a greater degree of possibly the Supreme Court hearing the case with the boys' lawsuit?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the goal. I think that it. I think that it should. The next thing we need to see is, as I'm sure everybody saw, the DOJ declined to reply to our filing, and now the next big thing we need to see is whether the Supreme Court requests that the DOJ respond to our filing. If they do, then that drives a much higher probability that they will agree to hear the case, because it means that four of them were interested enough to ask for the DOJ to reply. So I think we'll know that in the coming weeks. But AFP filing such a well-written amicus, I think it was definitely, the goal was for that to be helpful in terms of convincing them to do it. Okay. And there should be additional amicus briefs filed in the next several days as well, which hopefully will do the same.
It's great to see. I mean, it's great to see, and I think it can't be overstated how important it is for an organization like AFP to be supporting cannabis initiatives. How do we get them, or how do we engage them to get involved in the greater conversation? Because they're an 800-pound gorilla when it comes to influence, when it comes to resources, when it comes to overall opening doors. And I mean, it's great that they filed this brief. It's great that they're getting behind that cause, but it's like we could really use someone like that within the greater conversation that's going on in DC. And if they are, and I'm just not educated on the topic, then I'm mistaken. But to my knowledge, I haven't really heard of them getting involved in the greater conversation, whether it be States 2.0, rescheduling, any of those initiatives.
Yeah, I think that they were several years ago. I mean, they were they were big supporters of Nancy Mace before.
Friend of the show.
Yeah. So I think that they were. We've only been speaking to them from the Supreme Court, from this boys case perspective. But that is certainly something, I got to give Emily Paxi a credit. She was the one who was able to develop a relationship with the folks over at AFP and get them on board with filing this brief and supporting us overall. That is something that I think that we should go back and dig a little deeper in the conversation with them and see how much help we can get, on some of the other, through the legislative branch or even through the executive branch as well.
How is Emily? I have not heard from her in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to her in a while either. So I'm not sure. I spoke to Morgan yesterday. Yeah, I mean, they're still super active and super busy. I know Emily's been very involved, I think, in Sunburn, and I'm told has been in Florida a whole bunch, working on those efforts. But I need to check in with her. I texted her after the AFP brief came out yesterday, but I haven't really had much in the way of conversation with her in the last several weeks.
We do too. Emily, if you're watching this, hello. But if you got to watch this later, then we need to get in touch. But let's now move to the Koch brothers. They're not lobbying Congress anymore. They're trying to make cannabis prohibition unconstitutional. Are you guys watching this story? What do you make of it? Jason, I'll start with you.
I'm sorry. Hold on one second. I have something going on. Zia, can you take this? I need to. I got somebody ringing my doorbell here.
All good. Ziad, have you followed this story? Like I'm not going to sit here and say I've been following it super closely, but anytime the Koch brothers get brought up related to cannabis and trying to push this forward, it does grab people's attention, knowing the power that they have.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it goes back to what Anthony is saying. How can we take all those efforts and channel them? I think we lost Jason. Channel them in the right direction in order to eliminate the barriers and then get the momentum behind us, right? So we've always talked about the shot on goals that we have on the rescheduling and working with the administration, whether it's on the lawsuit that and getting the Supreme Court to to listen to us. So we need to tell our story. We need to be on that stage, and we need to zero the efforts altogether. I have not followed it. Similar to you, I'm up to speed on it, but haven't had any conversation on it in details.
Yeah. Well, we look at the end of 2025. Here we are, 2026. I know a lot of people are just sitting here on the sidelines going like, we were close. We felt like it was close at the end of the summer when it came to rescheduling. There were stories in the Wall Street Journal. There were actually, well, not say questions. There was one question in a press conference back on August 11th, where President Trump indeed had to answer that question, which is, hey, we're going to have an answer, in a few weeks. And here we are 3-4 months later and still nothing. But I know a lot of people are looking at this and knowing the network that you guys speak to and the connections that you have in Washington. And they're asking, like, what are you hearing out of there? And that was a lot of the sentiment that will be heard this week, in Washington at this conference. But the debate wasn't about whether or not rescheduling happens. The debate was about the timeline of it all. But that's anyone's guess. And I wish I could give people a better, more definitive answer. But Jason, that's just the reality of where things are right now.
Yeah, I wish I could give people a better, more definitive answer as well. I mean, I think the stocks don't trade like it's purely just a when, not if. I think the stocks are trading as if it's an if. So whether that's the right analysis or not, the market is the market is what it is. I would say, nothing's really changed in terms of what we're hearing. But I don't know. Ziad and I talk about this, pretty often. We start getting into all of this and speculating, and then we go back to, what? Let's just focus on the stuff that we can control.
I hear you.
The things that we can control is continuing to drive the operational excellence, and the fact is, if there is no reform in the future, then that could, to a certain extent, be a blessing for the well-run businesses as well. Because this is at this point, it's sort of for the last few years, it's been what I would call adult swim only. In terms of being able to operate and excel in this environment, and that's the only thing we could. I
think we're there already, regardless of what the outcome is. We keep seeing latest earnings, and it's the same trend over and over and over. And in a lot of ways, we talk about mergers and acquisitions, and a lot of companies, like this whole industry, becoming smaller. I think you're already starting to see that now, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's certainly some big players that have already sort of dropped out of the. Dropped off the scene here.
I know
some assets that are available, and and if everything was great and rescheduling had happened, and and these stocks were all a lot higher, I don't think that we'd be looking at the attractive terms that we're looking at to be able to acquire strong assets.
Speaking of what you can control, what are the top initiatives for the company in 2026? When you look, I guess, in orders of magnitude and priorities for the footprint and the overall business.
Yep. Z, you want to take that?
Yeah, I'd love to. We're in the middle of those conversations. Look, since my first leadership role, I divided into 3 different buckets. Number 1 is team member, engaging our team member, accomplishing engagement and low turnover. And I think the employment space that we offer in our company is second to none, and I'm super proud of this. Taking care of our patients, our consumers, and making sure we offer them the quality and the portfolio and the value that they're looking for in order to win in every corner. And then when 1 and 2 are done well, this is where the efficiency of the P&L, and that is continue to be efficient on how we produce and innovate and produce the quality at the best price in order to combat pricing pressure, resulting in the margins that I shared on the earnings call, that 50 to 52% gross margin, that mid-20s in EBITDA. Those are the internal focus that we have. All this is overseen and governed by best in class compliance. The compliance that we have in here is something I'm super proud of. That's internal. Externally, Refinancing is done all the way till 2028. The focus in the next year is how do we lower the interest rate, and we're having conversations on how to refinance part of that, and whether it's mortgage loan, etc., etc. We own all our properties. We do not have sale back, so that's an area that we will focus on. So look, up till EBITDA line, the adjusted EBITDA line, as I compare us to anybody, and I like where we are. Below the EBITDA line, there's the tax line. That's what Jason spent a lot of time on with everything that we've discussed. There's the interest line, and this is where the work that I described. And then we go externally. That's where the accretive deals that Jason were talking about will be a big focus, and in the right assets at the right price, and we have the support from the lenders, we have the access to the funding. So those are the major focus that we have for the next, quite honestly, not only 1 year, 3 years.
With the real estate footprint, I mean, yourselves and Verano, I think, are two of the only ones that actually own the lion's share of your real estate footprint. Is there any point in time where the economics make sense to, let's say, engage in leasebacks or to shed those assets from the footprint, or does that just overall keep the strength and, let's say, the credit strength and the overall strength of the business from an assets perspective strong moving forward, and that's just the way the business is built and the way the business is going to continue to be run moving forward?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'll start, Jason. I think one of the best decisions and the best gift that Jason and the team has given this company 4 or 5 years ago when they started it is not to engage in a sale leaseback. I will never say never in the business world, but we will fight it with everything we can before we engage in this, because what history has shown, when you engage in sale leaseback, this is the beginning of the end. And then you need an event to reset this. And if that event does not come in, that escalator will eat you alive, especially with all the other factors that are pressuring you. So the better way of doing it is...
Is he gone?
We froze.
We're whack-a-mole here this morning.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who's next?
I can finish this thought. I mean, we totally lost him. I've been saying for ad nauseum for years, that I feel like doing these sale leasebacks is like burning furniture to keep the house warm.
It is.
And the problem is, we've seen that these states get more, as we've discussed, these states get more competitive over time. When and you have to continue to be able to lower your cost to be able to continue to drive steady margins. When you've got a leaseback, which I haven't seen any that don't increase over time. I mean, it's not huge, but 2-3% each year. When you got that combination of a more competitive market with lower pricing over time, you combine that with your leases going up over time. It's just something that we have felt is going to make it much harder over time to drive continue to improve margins, or at least steady margins. So that's why we haven't done it. It would have been easy to have done it. It would have been easier to a certain extent than raising equity like we did even as recently as a couple of years ago before we listed on the TSX. And it's it is sort of sometimes from an outsider looking in perspective, it could look like you have less debt if you're looking to do leasebacks instead of
depends who's doing the analysis.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm always a big believer that you need to, when people are just analyzing the debt, that they need to take those leasebacks into account. But
definitely,
I don't see anything really changing. What we'd really like to do is go out and get some, less expensive mortgage debt as opposed to the debt that we currently have, against those properties. But I don't think that we're going to make any real changes in terms of doing any leasebacks going forward.
Works for some, not for others. I know Anthony Coniglio has done a very fine job with his business, but everybody to teach their own. But all in all, I think what you guys are doing and what you've shared should be an interesting year. We'll watch your story closely.
Yeah, thanks.
See what kind of opportunities present themselves. But the idea is to potentially, if there is a right opportunity, start expanding into some new markets, right?
Yeah, going deeper in markets and expanding into new markets. Ziad, you're back. Thanks.
Yeah,
for
I could hear you. I saw you finishing my thought. Thanks for finish it, and that you said exactly where I was going. Sorry about that.
TerrAscend, Florida.
TerrAscend, Florida. That wouldn't be bad. Ziad loves Florida. I mean, the margins are pretty solid here because you're totally vertically integrated. And let's see what happens. I mean, we had held off. If you remember, people were asking us a lot about that. About a year ago when the vote, or going into the vote, and we felt like,
Smart.
Yeah, we just felt like any deal we were working on prior to that, it was either going to, we were going to get retraded on possibly if rec passed, or it wasn't going to work for us if rec didn't. Definitely was as a Florida resident, I was definitely disappointed to see what went down there, and
I'm sure.
And Governor DeSantis has been a huge disappointment in my view.
Really, none of us knew that.
Well,
from your Twitter chats.
I mean, I know some people that are holding the one of the new 22 licenses, and there is no underlying bid on those pieces of paper. Assets in Florida, if anything, from that time when you guys were potentially looking at it, they've just gotten cheaper, and I'm sure they'll continue to get cheaper. Florida, you've got the 800-pound gorillas with Move, Curaleaf, and True Leaf, and then you've got the guys at the bottom that are doing craft, Sunburn, Flowery, Jungle Boys that are commanding price. That middle of the pack, those are probably there's a lot of zombie companies in there in terms of Florida, and I think there's going to be some changes in this market moving forward.
Timing's everything. It was a bold move you guys made, but like you said, when that didn't go through, and I sometimes laugh when I think about how the hemp industry is up in arms, but meanwhile, 12 months ago, the amount of money that they allocated to the governor, as we've said a few times, Anthony, our last few shows, it left a clearly bad taste in the mouth of many in the cannabis industry. But every dog has its day, and I don't want to sit here and say it's a win-win or a loss like for either industry. It's just when you're operating in a loophole, as Brady said to us a week and a half ago, loopholes were meant to be closed. And this Florida story, as you said before, entering it first isn't necessarily, well, I don't want to say first, but the time that you guys might have thought around Amendment 3 proved to be a wise decision to wait on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we've seen even in Maryland as well. It's worked out better to sort of hang around the hoop and see what's happening. I mean, we were able to get 3 store acquisitions done after rec was approved by the voters and right before the program started. I'm just smirking now. I'm thinking of the story about Ziad with that one dispensary that we bought like a day before rec started, and we wanted to send them a bunch of inventory for the big increase in demand. Ziad, do you guys mind letting Ziad share this quick story?
He's on the spot again. Were you with Iron Mike and the Champ when this happened?
Oh, we just had to negotiate on the call how the safe does not fit anything more, and they're declining the order. And I said, "Where are you standing right now?" He said, "In the safe." I said, "Just walk out and put it where you are standing."
And the guy's like, "Okay, that makes sense." I think that was the same. That opening weekend was when you were driving around visiting all the stores, and I think you were talking to me on the phone, and you ran out of gas in the middle of nowhere.
I did. You're on a roll today. Pre-call.
Yeah.
I know.
But
we need to get Iron. Like David Burke writes, Iron Mike said, Schedule 3 coming, and I got a few people here commenting on Anthony. I don't know what you did again, but
Dale said 1/1/2026.
I'm not saying that, but
guarantee.
Again, I will say the conversation in Washington on Monday was the debate, not about whether or not it happens. It's the timeline of it all. So, again, do I think it will happen? Yeah, but I don't know when. But I know people will say, well, that's, pretty obvious. But the idea of whether or not it happens or not, I still believe it will. But maybe we need to have Iron Mike on and see what his take is. But I will say a big thank you, Jason, for hooking that interview up with Mike Tyson back in June in Berlin. That was one of the craziest, awesome experiences of my life. It was like literally I was getting a call, and they were supposed to come before all these appearances, because you can imagine him making these appearances and people want to providing product. So if he's around for 3 or 4 hours, you just want him in a good state of mind. So anyway, that didn't work out. I had to wait at the front door. I was waiting for the limo to show up. It's basically his schedule got a little bit delayed, so he had to go make all these appearances, but it cut short. And then out of nowhere, there's about 500 people that came around the corner, hopped right in the podcast booth, and it was go time, which was pretty amazing. And then after it was all done, I got a call back and said, hey, do you want to film some more stuff at our suite at the Ritz? And clearly we stripped that down, and we're over there within probably a half an hour. Normally it would take probably 2 hours to strip everything down, but very cool experience, and a big thank you. I think all of our viewers got a lot of good feedback from that as well. So again, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad we could put it together.
Yeah.
Mike is actually unrelated. It's totally unrelated to cannabis, but Mike is actually going to the White House today.
Oh, is he?
To film some footage around. Mike has this new show coming out. This is a one-man show. Anthony, I'm sure you've seen the billboards on I-95. He's doing it at the Hard Rock in early December.
Yep.
And they're doing a Netflix special around it and doing an interview with Trump and Mike at the White House today. So I've already armed Mike's wife Kiki with a bunch of good information to share with President Trump, and to certainly try to see if if she can get any feedback. But I sent over an article. There was an article about a study, a federal study that showed that cannabis consumers consume less alcohol. And I thought that was something that should certainly resonate with President Trump, since his brother, died of alcoholism.
Absolutely. I have a lot of respect for his wife Kiki too.
She's awesome.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, this has been great to catch up, and I know there's a lot of other stuff, and hopefully that gives people enough dialogue as much as possible on your company, trends to look for in the industry heading into 26, some reform talk as well. And then obviously the lawsuit too, that you and Anthony touched on. But all in all, this has been good. And we will keep in touch with you guys. In the meantime, happy Thanksgiving. And
yes.
we'll speak to you soon, okay?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Ed.
Bye-bye.
All right. I saw, I don't know how many smirks on your face during that interview and what was going on. Obviously, the deadline was one, but there is an interesting person with an interesting handle name that I don't want to repeat. That was new to the live stream, but we'll stay away from that. But I couldn't help but ask what you were smirking about, but maybe we'll just leave it for off the air.
Yeah, I'll tell you off the air.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything here this morning? I think we're good for the most part, but big week coming up next week.
How's MSOS doing today?
Probably not great.
Oh, it's up. MSOS is up 5%. MSOX is up 11%. So it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
You sent me a screenshot of a tweet last night. It was October 5th, 2021. GTI was trading at $26.56. Curaleaf was a little over $11. Verona was a little over just under 11. Trulieve was just under 30. Air Wellness, $25.05.
Talk about value destruction.
And Cresco was $8.33. That was 4 years ago. Anyway, hopefully everybody got a chance to see the right link. I know I was getting a lot of feedback where something wasn't up, but clearly on the other link we got hacked. But let me know if there's anything that everybody wants to reach out to. Any questions? I'm not predicting. God damn it, Anthony.
There's no coincidence. You said 11-11 and now 1-1.
I didn't say that. Didn't say that.
Hard coded.
Didn't say that. All right, back here next week. We're going to try to get, I think we're trying to get Adam Terry on from Cantrip at some point next week, hopefully Monday. We have a great conversation. It's going to be a pre-record that we're going to launch next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Trent Wolovec, a story that emerged out of Colorado yesterday, and the tie-in with MC Nutraceuticals. We also got a good little interview that we did yesterday. It's a pre-record we're going to launch next week. Gentleman by the name of Ludovic Rachou. Part of policy when it comes to France, but we had a good conversation. You look at Germany and you talk about Germany. This rollout has been slow in France, but it is going to be the next Germany in due time. still early stages, but 70 million people there, and it is the biggest illegal cannabis market in Europe right now. But when you look at international investment, Curaleaf, Village Farms, Aurora, Canopy, they all have footprints in that country. So good little interview we'll have out there next week just to kind of explain as to why they've made investments in those countries and things that you should know about France. Because whether it's a state in the US or a country in Europe, we all want new markets to go live. So that's pretty much it. Yes. And then I will have a top 5. What are the top 5 biggest moments in cannabis so far this year? That's going to go out next week during one of the holidays. So let me know if you agree. If you had to predict 5 big moments, well, let's just save it for the video. And
I don't know 5 big moments from this year.
Well, positive or negative. I'm just going to say biggest moments for the space this year alone. So I'll outline that next week. But in the meantime, that's it. We got our international weekly update coming up tonight. I got a good little story about Cory Booker tomorrow, and then our weekly recap on Sunday. And then Texas, they're moving ahead with their own laws. That'll be going out Monday morning. So all in all, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Make sure you stay connected with us. We see you back here for Monday at 4 p.m. with the latest Trade to Black podcast presented by Dutchie. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Hey everyone, thanks again for watching here today. Listen, if you're getting value from us here at TDR, make sure to check us out at TDR Plus. It's our exclusive membership community. Why? Well, you'll see CEO interviews that go beyond business, showing a personal side that you won't find anywhere else, including the biggest names of the industry. Plus, you'll get insights from analysts and day traders on where the industry's headed, both short-term and long-term, and a direct chat group with our team. It's only $7 a month, just 25 cents a day, and it helps support everything we do here at TDR. If you want to join, just click the join button below and become a TDR Plus member today. And once again, a big thank you for being part of our community. So that's it for today. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.